Good morning, everybody. We are going to be talking about the nitrogen cycle today. As I'm setting up the fish tank you see behind me here, it means adding filters to this tank. And it made me want to talk about it a little bit. What is the nitrogen cycle? What does it mean to have a cycled aquarium? How does it affect your fish? How do we get to that point? Just going to go high level into this. I feel like it's going to be real helpful for beginners, especially if you are thinking about this, setting up a tank for the first time. Understanding the nitrogen cycle is, in my opinion, the most important thing that you're going to do for your long-term success and especially for the health of your fish. So I'm going to put together a couple of things here. We'll dive into what it looks like, what it means, how you achieve it, and hopefully everybody will walk away having learned something. What are we actually talking about when we say the nitrogen cycle? What is this doing in our water? Well, simply put, it is breaking down harmful chemicals that are produced in your fish tank by things like fish waste, uneaten food, maybe leftover plant matter. If you're growing plants, they're going to break down organics into harmful things that build up over time in the water that can harm your fish. How do you get rid of these things? Well, that's where your filter and this nitrogen cycle comes into play. The nitrogen cycle is beneficial bacteria growing on the surfaces. That's a key point. The surfaces in your tank and especially in your filter. I know when I was new to the hobby, my idea of what we needed a filter for was really, I guess, elementary. I looked at it like, oh, you put a filter on it, that filter takes particles of just stuff floating in the water out so you don't see it. But there's something happening at a microscopic level that is so much more important than that. It isn't untrue that your filters do trap debris, floating particles, things along those lines. But the more important thing that you're getting from your filter is it creates an environment where good bacteria can grow. It grows on the surfaces. That's what I was kind of mentioning earlier. I think a lot of times I see some misconceptions in the hobby where people are thinking the water itself has this bacteria in it. It does not. It grows on surfaces. It will grow on your hardscape, on rocks and fake plants and the sides of your aquarium. That is absolutely true. You'll get good bacteria growing there, but you're going to get the majority of it inside of your filter. Another key point to it is what that bacteria needs. So water flowing past the bacteria is very important. That's why the filters are also a great environment for growing this bacteria. Oxygen in the water is very important to this bacteria as well. It's why, apart from, of course, the fish breathing oxygen, you're putting a bubbler, you're creating a choppy surface with wave makers or something along those lines to increase the oxygen level in your water. Your fish are breathing that, yes, but the beneficial bacteria is needing that to grow and multiply and form these massive colonies. Now, what does the bacteria do? Well, as organics are breaking down in your tank, so fish poop, uneaten food, that stuff is going to break down into ammonia first. And ammonia is very toxic to your fish. The good bacteria that we're talking about feeds off this ammonia. It breaks that down into another chemical called nitrite. Now, nitrite is still very toxic to fish as well. But again, that's where the beneficial bacteria is going to help us again. It will also, another type of bacteria, uses nitrite as its energy source, essentially eating the nitrite, producing one more chemical as a byproduct called nitrate. Nitrate, much, much less dangerous to your fish versus the first two chemicals. We still don't want massive concentrations of nitrate in our water building up over time. Even that can be harmful to our fish, but it's a lot less harmful than ammonia or nitrite. And then we come back through with our water changes to pull the nitrate out of the tank. That's a big key there, too, as to why water changes are so important when we are maintaining our fish tanks. We do that water change, we replace it with fresh water, it lowers the amount of nitrate that's in the water column. Now, there is test kits you can buy. Aquarium Pharmaceuticals has a really good one, the Master Test Kit. Comes with some little vials, some chemicals. You get some of your aquarium water, add some of these chemicals according to the directions, and it will give you a chart to show you where these different things are in your tank. As you're setting up your fish tank, it's very, very important to have this nitrogen cycle established before you put your fish in. Otherwise, if you're adding fish, well, there's nothing to combat the ammonia as it's building up in your tank first. It's going to lead to really sick, stressed out fish, maybe fish whose immune systems are compromised, meaning they're more susceptible to other diseases or parasites, and could lead right to death. High levels of ammonia and having your fish exposed to that for a long period of time could absolutely cause your fish to die. So that is what we're talking about in the hobby when we talk about cycling your tank first. Is it cycled? What are your water levels? These are the kinds of things people are referring to when they ask about this. That's why it's important to set up your filter, get it running, get it established. This can take several weeks for these bacteria to multiply and form a really strong colony. Then you come back and add your fish in. Now, guys, keep in mind that is really high level when it comes to cycling a new tank, adding fish when it's safe to add your fish. Definitely encourage you to check out some other YouTubers, watch videos that they have about cycling and adding fish to your new tank. Definitely come back to my channel as well. I don't have anything up for this topic yet, but it's something I will add to my channel soon. I want to have a really nice beginners playlist that just talk about all these different concepts. Now, as far as the nitrogen cycle goes, you'll probably wonder, how do I know when I'm where I should be? How do I know it's established? Well, you're going to want to test your water. There's a company called Aquarium Pharmaceuticals, and they make something called the Freshwater Master Test Kit. They do make one for saltwater as well, but I keep freshwater fish, so that's what I'm talking about today specifically. This test kit comes with some little vials and some different bottles of chemicals. You scoop up some of your fish water in the vial. Depending on what you're testing for, you use the bottle of the provided chemicals, put a few drops into the water in the vial. That water then changes colors, and you use that compared to a chart that they provide you, a color coded chart that'll tell you how much ammonia, how much nitrite, how much nitrate. It'll tell you all those things. In the hobby, we measure these in parts per million. When it comes to ammonia and nitrite, you always want those at zero. Even just the lowest amount detectable by this test kit can be dangerous for your fish. It can cause them a lot of stress. Even just ammonia exposure itself after a period of time could kill your fish. Um, Another thing that it does, which is probably more common, if you have just a small amount of ammonia, it will really stress your fish. In turn, that can lower their immune system, and then they're more susceptible to diseases, viruses, bacterial infections, parasites. A lot of times, having bad water quality in that sense is what leads to something like ick, let's say, a parasitic um, infection in your fish that will absolutely kill them if untreated. So that's partly why this is such an important concept to understand when you're coming into the hobby. Your fish's health is directly related to this. Now, it's not as intimidating as it might sound, even after watching this video. I know I did talk about a lot of things here, so feel free to leave me some comments if you have questions, if there's something I didn't talk about at all that you're curious about, or just wanting me to expand upon something. Please let me know. I'd be happy to have a conversation. And guys, of course, there is tons of other really good quality videos out there from some really great YouTubers. So really encourage you to go check out some other videos of this kind of thing if you are new to the hobby. I think a lot of people dive in a bit too quickly. They might lose a lot of fish because maybe they started too soon and didn't have a cycled tank. It creates a lot of frustration. I think I see people kind of give up on the hobby because of that. If you can wrap your brain around the nitrogen cycle, take your time, be patient, let your system run, build up these colonies of bacteria, your success in the long run is going to be much higher versus diving in blindly. One other thing I wanted to mention, there are some other products on the market that can help you with starting your cycle. Um, for instance, I use a product called Stability from a company called Seachem. It's basically beneficial bacteria in a bottle. You dose your tank. It doesn't mean one dose and it's just perfect and ready to go. It just helps to speed it up. It jump starts that process. You're adding a little bit of bacteria. That way, it's going to start growing and multiplying a lot quicker. Um, it's definitely a good product to consider. Doesn't have to be Seachem's brand either. There's several other companies that make something along the lines. There's literally one called Quick Start from the same company that makes that test kit I mentioned. I'll post a few links to Amazon in the description for a lot of these products if you guys want to go check any of those out, or maybe even buy some. It does go a long way to support my channel a little bit. You're buying something that you already need at the same price, and I get a little bit of a kickback from it. So it's a cool thing. It's been something I've been wanting to get involved with a little bit, but more so than anything, I just really like this hobby. I really like helping people out as they start their journey. I think the more people we have in the hobby, the better. So again, just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to check out the video. Definitely come back for more. I'll have a lot of new stuff coming soon, different playlists for different topics. The main focus is still going to be this tank. I'm going to get this established, ready to go, and along the way, we'll do some more beginner tips and tricks as I'm setting up this tank. Thanks again for joining me today, everybody. Have a good day.